Unlock your best self with the Life Hack Pack from More Labs. The Life Hack Pack contains 2 bottles of Morning Recovery, 2 bottles of Dreamwell, and 2 bottles of Liquid Focus. The Life Hack Pack is specially designed to help you live your life not just better, but smarter. Morning Recovery is designed to be taken while drinking or up to an hour after your last drink. Dreamwell is designed to be taken 30 minutes before you're ready to fall asleep. And Liquid Focus is designed to be taken 30 minutes before you have to lock in and get stuff done. Supercharge your productivity at home or work with the Life Hack Pack from More Labs. Use promo code Radio15 at morelabs.com to get 15% off your first purchase of the Life Hack Pack or any of their other great products. That's promo code Radio15 to take advantage of this great promo of 15% off your first purchase at morelabs.com. The Life Hack Pack from More Labs. Drink smart with Morning Recovery, sleep easy with Dreamwell, and get more done with Liquid Focus. You can finally do it all with help from More Labs. Welcome to Turnpike Sports. I'm Dave Weishuttle, and as always, I'm joined by my producer and co-host, Doug Weishuttle. Doug, we had a pretty good week on the picks, huh? 3-0 both of us.
Oh, and Patriot-related wins, too, if you think about it. But, no, great weekend of sports. I have to admit, September and October have been really fun sports-wise.
They have been. It's been really great. I don't know if I missed them over the last couple of months, but these last month and a half with, starting with the hockey playoffs and then the basketball playoffs and then football and then the World Series, which was great. And it was just so much fun to get back into the swing of things, kind of, by watching sports.
This was also these last 2 months were the most I've played, not only with sports betting, but also fantasy sports, too.
Yeah, no, it's been a lot of fun. And you know what? 3-0, it's pretty profitable last weekend, huh?
Very profitable.
Well, we got a great show coming up. Of course, we're going to have the Turnpike Sports Book Report, where we talk about what's going on in the sports books across the country later on in the show. We're going to have our NFL picks. What week is this? Is this week?
We're going into week 8.
Week 8. Oh, boy. Week 8. Okay, week 8 picks. And then also I'm going to have an interview with Adam Small from USBets.com and Better Collective. He's going to give us an update on the states that are entering the sports betting field, and also an update on how they're marketing themselves. It's called omni-channel marketing, and it's a very interesting way sportsbooks gets their message out to customers. So it's a very interesting interview.
Yeah, no, omni-channel marketing is a tag that they're using for different variety of ways to how they promote their books and their promos and their offers. And it's a very interesting topic because it's continually developing as new technologies come out to promote the books.
Absolutely. It's been a busy week in sports, so let's take a trip down the Turnpike. Today's trip down the Turnpike is brought to you by Drizzly, your online liquor store. Available in over 95 cities across North America, Drizzly offers a huge selection and competitive pricing with a side of personalized content. Now there's no need to leave the house. Get alcohol delivered in less than an hour by Drizzly. Head on over to drizzly.com and order today. And now get $5 off your first order of $20 or more when using our promo code DRINK19 at checkout. Shop beer, wine, and liquor with drizzly.com.
Exit 1.
Well, it looks like the guys from Fanduel are at it again. The original founders, led by Nigel Eccles,
all right,
have been hard at work, and they've created a new sports, I don't want to say betting just yet, but a sports platform, a sports app for sports fans around the world.
Okay, so it's an actual app that's actually out right now, huh?
It's called Flick.
Flick.
And if you go to flickapp.com,
All right.
You'll be able to see it and download it and start participating.
So what is Flick, though? I mean, when you say participating, what can I participate in?
Well, Flick basically creates a sports bar, a virtual sports bar.
Okay.
You know what you do in a sports...
Do they have bouncers to throw you out?
They probably do, but what it is it's basically it recreates the atmosphere of a sports bar in a virtual setting. You go and you hang out with people who root for the same teams. You interact with people that root for the same teams. You interact with people who root for opposite teams.
So there's a trash talking section.
Well, it's a chat feature.
Feature. That's
yes, I guess that's the way to put it.
A chat feature.
But it's you also can participate in predictions. You know, who's going to win the game? What's going to happen here? There's a predictive style atmosphere or application inside the app itself.
All right.
You can participate in quizzes that pop up every so often. They call them the pop quiz, obviously.
So, I mean, what do you get if you do well on these pop quizzes?
You get prizes.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yep.
Okay.
You can also predict who's going to score first, what the final result will be.
Oh, okay.
Now, this was launched.
Are they setting the stage for maybe something more down the road?
That's
maybe
why I am
monetize it, your prizes kind of thing.
Well, their statements after raising $9 million for funding right off the bat for this thing. This is pre-pandemic it launched too.
Okay.
Their thoughts were, and their thought process was, let's get the customer base up first, and then look at monetizing. Basically, what they did with Fanduel.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, look where Fanduel is right now. So those are the perfect people to get involved in a new app. You know,
what they want to do is they want to take advantage of what's going on in the world today. I hate to say it that way, but the pandemic is helping them out a lot.
Well, look, the pandemic is helping out a lot of sports books. I think, I've talked to a lot of people in the sports betting industry, and they said it gave us time to work on our infrastructure, meaning their software and their staffing, and, they really got their act together, and it gave them some time to really get their ducks in a row to do this stuff.
Well, they were seeing good numbers of subscriptions and interactions before the pandemic. But now that a lot of the sports bars had closed and you couldn't go to the sports bars, and in certain areas you still can't go to sports bars.
Yeah.
They're seeing a lot more downloads and a lot more subscriptions, a lot more customer engagement, I guess is the way to put this.
Sure.
And this is similar to sort of what they had done before Fanduel. They had that bulletin board set up where it was exchanging stats and information for sports way back before they did Fanduel. And, so they are going to be spending the next 3 to 4 years of this app's life trying to build the customer base. Then they hope to integrate some betting applications into it as well.
Okay. So what's the name of this thing again?
Flick.
Flick. F-L-I-C-K?
Right.
Okay.
But the website is Flick App. A-P-P. Flick, F-L-I-C-K-A-P-P.com.
Okay.
And it takes you to the download page, and you can read all about it there. Very interesting app. Very nice to see them back into the realm of the sports betting, fantasy sports, and just the sports market itself.
Well, Nigel Eccles is a legend, so anything he's involved with, certainly will have a lot of eyes on. So, I got to tell you, I'm going to check it out.
Well, at least it has.
It sounds like fun. I got to tell you, it sounds like fun.
It has at least 9 million eyes from the dollar bills that are coming in.
I mean, on a Sunday, watching the games, jumping on this app, that might be fun to interact with.
Well, remember,
people.
It's not just football.
I know. It's not just football.
Overseas, they're soccer.
Which they call football.
Yeah.
But,
but it's all sports.
Okay, great.
Exit 2.
eSports Entertainment Group, which seems to be making headway into every aspect of the sports, fantasy sports, eSports, sports betting world, has just made another agreement to become the official eSports tournament provider of the LA Kings and the LA Galaxy.
Interesting. Okay.
First of a kind deal for
LA
both
Galaxy
sides.
is the
MLS soccer, Major League
right.
Soccer.
Okay, soccer.
So
I knew that, but I just wanted to make sure.
Well, again, this is all brand new for both sides.
Yeah. No.
This is EEG's first deal with a Major League Soccer and a National Hockey League team. They haven't done this before. And on the converse side, the Kings and Galaxy, this is a brand new category for their gaming teams to have branded tournaments held by eSports Entertainment Group on their eSports platform.
Interesting. Yeah. Let me guess. It's going to be televised on Twitch? It seems like everything's televised on Twitch.
Nothing has been said about where it's going to be broadcast.
Well, I'm going to make a prediction. It'll probably be on Twitch, right? Because it seems like everything's on Twitch.
Well, what's interesting, the EGL platform that EEG, I know too many acronyms there, eSports Entertainment Group's platform EGL, also has its own broadcast section.
Oh,
too.
okay.
So there may not be.
Maybe it won't be on Twitch now. I didn't know that.
Well, you also got to remember some of these other gaming teams have deals with YouTube. And Caffeine and Mixer and all those other streaming services. So really, I think you're going to have to wait and see exactly where this is going to be broadcast before you can actually tell people where to go for this. But this is a brand new agreement. It just happened this week.
I got to tell you, the esports industry has an incredible amount of outlets at its fingertips. You know, it's got all these streaming channels and the social media things, and I think it's really incredible.
Well, I find it really interesting to watch the interaction between the actual, I hate to say physical, but the sports teams and the gaming side of everything, and seeing exactly how one set of fans translates onto the other side. You know, whether or not sports fans would follow an LA Kings gaming team, the hockey fans versus, the esports fans.
Yeah.
I wonder what the transition is vice versa. And this is what the goal of this deal is to do, to actually create fans from both sides of the aisle onto both the LA Kings esports team as well as the LA Kings hockey team, and also with the Galaxy.
Great. Yeah, I think I'll do a great job with it.
I think a lot of stuff with Major League Soccer is going to be fun to watch, because they're trying to recreate FIFA with some of these things. And you never know exactly where these things are going to go.
If you follow Chad Ochocinco on social media, he's always playing the FIFA.
Is he
game.
FIFA?
Yeah, I think he's a FIFA guy, yeah.
He's a FIFA fan.
He's a FIFA fan.
Exit 3.
A lot of people have been waiting for the next The Match golf tournament. And Turner Sports has not disappointed with their new lineup.
Okay.
Last year, remember, was Phil Mickelson, Tiger Woods.
Well, it's always been Phil Mickelson and Tiger Woods.
Tom Brady, and also Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
No Tiger Woods this year.
I wonder why. And I was a little disappointed to hear that, but I was very happy to hear about Charles Barkley joining, which should be a treat.
Well, Charles Barkley was the announcer, one of the announcers.
And he was a really bright spot in that golf tournament. I love Charles Barkley. I mean, obviously, they're miking him up. They have to mic him up.
They're miking all of them up.
Okay. But Charles Barkley is the one I'm going there to listen to.
Well, the new foursome is Mickelson, Peyton Manning, Steph Curry, and Charles Barkley.
Okay.
Charles Barkley is actually playing.
Great.
I think the replacement of Tiger Woods with Curry might be interesting, because he's supposed to be a really good golfer. He's always on the golf course when he's not playing basketball.
Okay, no, it should be fun.
And
I say what you will about the match and things like that. I love watching it. Absolutely love watching it. And
I didn't mind it.
I like betting on it too. It's a fun thing to bet on.
Well,
I mean, I don't bet a lot because you can bet on every hole, but it's a lot of fun.
The second iteration of the match, which featured Brady and Manning, was the most watched golf telecast in the history of cable TV.
Well, also, to put it in perspective, it was smack dab in the middle of the pandemic, which we're still in right now.
A lot of people are saying that didn't matter.
Really? I think it did, because there was nothing else to watch.
Well, they had a simulcast going between TNT, TBS, True TV, and HLN, Headline News Network.
I honestly can't remember what I was watching it on.
I was watching TNT most of it.
I know the TV was on. I was watching it. I don't know what channel I was on.
The entire event averaged 5.667 million viewers and got a 3.4 rating on TV. Highest rated telecast for golf. Grossed, I shouldn't say gross when it's a charity event. It generated $20 million for COVID relief. And sponsors and viewers matched up to $10 million donated by Warner Media, which was actually is the owner of Turner Sports and all the other channels doing the broadcast of the show.
I thought it was great also when other celebrities and other athletes chimed in and called in and said, hey, if Tom Brady makes a birdie on this one, I'm donating this much. And
I think that was one of them was Brooks Koepka did that the $100,000 thing.
I think Russell Wilson called in too and donated, and I'm sure he donated. I'm not sure what his thing was, if Brady would get a bogey or Peyton Manning would get a birdie or whatever.
It was a par, and then he hit that birdie.
I don't know what it is, but no, that was a great moment in the broadcast. So I like those things.
I have to admit, I kept waiting to see after the match happened that they were going to auction off the split pants by Brady. Yeah, I really thought that would have been a great auction item.
Maybe they did. I haven't heard anything about it, but that was a pretty funny moment.
Well, this is going to be the third match, and it's right now Capital One has re-upped as the title sponsor.
All right.
And
when is this going to be? Because I remember the first one was on the very first one with Mickelson and Tiger Woods alone. That was on Thanksgiving weekend. I think it was the Friday
around the same time
after Thanksgiving.
They're all around the same time.
They are?
The charity is going to be different.
Yeah,
historical
but
black
the second
colleges.
One wasn't. The second one was in May.
It's going to be around the same time as the second one. So
in May sometime?
Yeah.
Okay.
But the historically black colleges and universities are going to be the charity involved with this.
All right.
That goes with Steph Curry.
Okay.
Because he's big with the HBCU charity events and all of that. So he was the one who brought that charity to the table. So it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, no, I'm going to check when it's being played. I
double check that.
Yeah, because do they have a website for this?
Yeah, they do.
They do?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll check it out. I'll Google the match.
Well,
the match three.
The
match three. I'll Google the match 3 and find out when it is.
And the odds are already out in certain sports books for the event.
I told you. I love this thing.
The team of Peyton Manning and Steph Curry are -150 favorites at DraftKings, Play Sugar House, and Bet Rivers.
Okay.
Mickelson, Barkley are +125 at those sites. PointsBet has Manning Curry at -145 and Mickelson Barkley at +120.
Oh, I got it. The Match 3 golf tournament is set for November 27th.
Around Thanksgiving.
So there you go. November 27th.
Around the same time as the first one.
Thank you, Google.
And did you actually look up the website?
No, I did not. I just I got a news site that.
But I'm curious. By the time this airs, these odds may change.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember last year.
I don't know how much they can change.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't know if they're going to change that much. I don't think these guys are playing unless someone has some inside information. If people are, practicing and they're checking out the practice matches, but I doubt these things will change.
I'm really interested to see if they do some micro market betting in this.
Okay.
Like what Simple Bet has been doing with DraftKings and Fanduel and all that. Maybe they'll start incorporating some of these things into it as well.
Well, look, they're going hole by hole and
shot by
shot, and so
Hey, if they're betting
and
donations
golf,
on it,
and golf lends itself to that because there's a bit of time between each shot, which is great. You're sitting there in front of the TV with your cell phone or with your laptop or your tablet or whatever you use to bet on, and you're just sitting there relaxing, and you're winning some money watching a pretty good event. So
I just think golf may be the most near perfect betting event.
Yeah, I like it.
So
Exit 4.
Okay, this past World Series and National League Championship Series had something new on the tech side for people who do not follow this stuff. I thought it was very interesting because I always try and do a tech exit once in a while, and we've been doing a couple lately.
Okay.
Last week we did the Bose frames, the speakers in your glasses.
The speakers in your sunglasses?
Yeah.
All right.
This year, the coverage featured the Fox Sports 5G View powered by Samsung. That's the title of the tech. I had to say it that way. Mm-hmm. Fox Sports 5. I'm just going to go 5G View right now. It was part of the new redesign of the Fox Sports app that people would download. And if you wanted to watch it, this was only for Android users, by the way. If you had a 5G Android phone, you could actually watch a custom-designed experience for additional camera angles and fan-controlled camera angles, replays, rewinds, all that stuff.
Interesting.
It was very interesting.
Okay.
And actually, I've seen the commercials. Chris Rock was in them. He was holding up the phone, and he mentioned the sports app,
Okay.
and it was a 5-screen event on the screen itself he was holding up. It was actually kind of, I didn't know it was actually these two things. I wish they would have actually promoted this a little bit more. It sounds like it was fun to actually watch it on your phone or your tablet instead of the TV.
I don't have a 5G phone, though. I have a Samsung. I have an Android.
I don't have
a 5G. You just got one?
Yeah.
Is it a big difference? Well, obviously, it's a big difference if you can do this stuff
when you're in a 5G network area. 5G is not everywhere yet. That's the problem.
Right.
But these are some of the...
See, now we got to get a new phone now.
Yeah. These are some of the features. And, again, this is all through the Fox Sports app, the brand new updated app. And you can only get these once you provide your cable provider authentication. You have to have a subscription to a cable provider to actually access some of these. They had an interactive video player. You can be the director of the clip that you're making. You're able to rotate, zoom in, zoom out during the games. Basically, you're the director in the broadcast booth, telling what the camera's to do while you're to actually increase your enjoyment of the experience.
Okay.
They have 5 different angles. I think I just mentioned that in the Chris Rock commercial. You saw the 5 different angles on the telephone screen, multi-view feature. You can do your own highlights for the game.
All right.
Basically, this is all fan engagement.
It's great fan engagement. It's great that they have this technology. I'm sure a lot of people are going to be taking advantage of this in the future in other sports. But let me tell you something. I want to watch a game. I don't want to do anything else. I did look. They have very talented directors over there at Fox and cameramen at Fox, and I want to pay homage to them by not doing anything and just drinking a beer, having some chips, watching a game, and letting the directors and the cameramen do all the work.
See, I've noticed when I watch a baseball game, my attention drifts.
That's just me though.
My attention drifts when I'm watching a baseball game. But you mentioned the cameramen.
Yeah.
In the Globe Life Park, where the World Series and the NLCS was held, 90 additional cameras were put out throughout the stadium for this new 5G feature on the phones.
Like I said, it should be interesting. I hope they do it with other sports. It should be interesting with like football, or it should be very interesting with football, by the way, if they even consider doing it with football. But no, it's...
Imagine when they start incorporating betting into these things.
Yeah, this time has been an incredible time to experiment in sports and how sports are presented. So it should be interesting once we hopefully come out of this pandemic sometime soon. Hopefully, I think there are going to be some new technology that fans and spectators can take advantage of.
Well, you have to admit,
you got to look on the bright side of a bad situation, yeah?
Without fans in the stands, it allows the broadcast companies to experiment with new angles.
Yeah.
And new placement. I remember watching the drones at the NASCAR.
I was just going to say, I'm seeing more drones flying over stadiums because they don't have to worry about them falling out of the sky and hitting a spectator. So, it should be interesting to see how much of this technology, once we hopefully come out of this pandemic soon, let's see if it stays around.
It's nice to see the developments.
And today's trip down the Turnpike was brought to you by Drizzly, your online liquor store. Available in over 95 cities across North America, Drizzly offers a huge selection and competitive pricing with a side of personalized content. Now there's no need to leave the house. Get alcohol delivered in less than an hour by Drizzly. Head on over to drizzly.com and order today. And now get $5 off your first order of $20 or more when using our promo code DRINK19 at checkout. Shop beer, wine, and liquor with drizzly.com.
And as always, you can get in touch with Turnpike Sports by calling or texting us at 609-512-5910. That's 609-512-5910. At Turnpike Sports is the show's handle on Facebook and Twitter. At Turnpike Sports Radio is our handle on Instagram. And as always, our email address is info@turnpikesportsradio.com. And don't forget, you can listen to the show via Spotify, Amazon Music, iTunes, radio.com mobile app, as well as Stitcher and YouTube. You can also watch us on your smart TV, Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV. Head on over to turnpikesports.net. You'll be able to watch our video channel there.
And stick around, because later on we're going to have our NFL picks of the week. and also the Turnpike Sports Book Report, where we talk about what's going on in the sports books across the country. But coming up next, I'm going to be talking with Adam Small from USBets and Better Collective. He's going to give us an update on the sports betting world. There's a lot of new markets going to be coming online soon. It should be a very interesting couple of months from the sports betting industry, and Adam Small from USBets.com and Better Collective is going to give us the lowdown. And plus, he's going to talk about how sports books market themselves, which is
omni-channel marketing.
Absolutely, which is a big topic in the sports betting world. All this when we come back with more Turnpike Sports.
Attention Medicare recipients and anyone turning 65. Medicare has approved new benefits not included with original Medicare and older Medicare Advantage plans. You may not be getting all of the benefits you're entitled to, including in-home aids, telephone appointments with your doctors, home-delivered meals and prescriptions. These benefits may be available, and it's a free call to enroll. The new plans may also offer free eyeglasses, free hearing aids, free wellness visits, and gym memberships. Call the Medicare benefits line now. It's easy. Call 800-217-1797. 800-217-1797. Find out if you're eligible for new benefits like meal and prescription delivery, in-home aids, and telemedicine. Some plans may have a $0 monthly premium or zero copays for big out-of-pocket savings. Not all Medicare Advantage plans are alike. The new plans have more benefits for many people. Call 800-217-1797. 800-217-1797. 800-217-1797.
Is your bathroom looking old and worn out? Want to update it, but you don't know where to start? Then let BCI Bath & Shower show you how to turn that old bath into an aisle of beauty and functionality. Our residential bathroom solutions provide the best value on the market, and our customer service is second to none. Our cost-effective BCI Bath & Shower family of products has what you need.
Remodeling our bathroom was a big decision for us.
They didn't make a mess out of our house at all. And at the end of the day, we had a beautiful new bathroom. And it was a great experience the whole way through.
We have the best monthly payment programs in the industry, with payments as low as $68 per month or no interest, no payments for 18 months. That's right. Get the bathroom of your dreams now and pay for it in 2021. Call 1-800-462-5722 for a free no-obligation price quote. That's 1-800-462-5722. When you want quality bathroom products at a great price, it's got to be BCI Bath & Shower. That's 1-800-462-5722.
Welcome back to Turnpike Sports. It's been an incredibly busy month for sportsbook operators. All the sports were playing at one time, and operators are trying to reach as much of an audience as they can while also preparing to open their books in new markets across the country. And as always, to keep us up to date about what's going on in the gambling world, we are lucky to talk with Adam Small from USBets.com and Better Collective. Adam, thanks for coming on.
Hey, Dave. Yeah, great to be back.
Oh, it's always great having you. And like I said, it's been an incredibly busy month in the sports betting business. I mean, a lot of operators are trying to get the word out about their services. And so one of the hot topics out there is for marketers is the marketing strategies. Now, you're a part of a panel about omni-channel marketing at G2E, which for people who don't know is a huge gaming convention. And like I said, that's a big topic in the business. However, for people out there listening who aren't familiar with the term, what do we mean when we say omni-channel marketing?
Yeah, it was really interesting, actually. So the panel hasn't gone live yet. It's going to go live later in October.
Okay.
And I'm not sure exactly when this show airs, but it'll be probably around the same time, I guess. And I had a couple of CEOs on there, and as well as the head of U.S. gaming for Optimove, which is the biggest CRM, customer relationship management service in the gaming industry. And I was learning myself quite a bit in this because my business has always been for nearly 20 years now that I've been in this industry. On the acquisition side, I'm helping operators, gaming companies bring in new customers. And what these omni-channel marketing solutions and CRM solutions do is they try to deal more on the retention side with customers. They're looking for ways to take existing customers and re-engage them if they become disengaged, or to get them, continue engagement with them or increase engagement with them. And what's changed a lot in the digital era these last, 20 to 25 years, and particularly the more recent years where, once everything's gone mobile, is that operators are trying to find ways, and casinos are trying to find ways to engage people via their devices, not just by sending direct mailers out like you get still probably. I'm sure, Dave, you get mailers from Borgata sometimes. I even get them down in Georgia, where it's like, special summer rate, like book now for a weekend in Atlantic City. I get that stuff. I'm sure, living there, you get even more. Sure. And so that's kind of a more traditional means of marketing. But omni-channel, they're looking to target very specific messages based on user profile, sometimes based on your physical location. Like if you're near the property or on the property, you might get a different kind of message and notification to your phone or something like that than you would get if you're somewhere else. So they're tracking user behavior a lot more digitally and trying to target very specific messages to people based on that.
When we're on the radio right now, and usually we're on a sports talk channel, and all the sports talk channels say their target audience are males 18 to 35 years old. Is that a sportsbook operator's main target? I mean, do they go how the sports media looks at marketing? Is it who are the market that sportsbook operators are trying to reach?
Sure. Yeah, that's a good question. I definitely think that is an interesting target audience, the one that you just mentioned, but I don't think that encompasses all of the main audience. I would say that it is a male-focused marketing effort, but the age range goes a bit higher. I would say probably more like up to 49 or even 55. And obviously they're targeting older customers as well, but I think the big target audience for sports betting is those males, from college age all the way up to kind of the middle age type males. And I think online casino skews a bit older than that, but for sports betting, maybe up into the early to mid 50s.
Do they develop a national plan, or is it a more state-to-state plan? I mean, do they approach a state that has 60% people betting online differently than they approach a state with 90% people betting online? I mean, does it get that specific, or is it a national plan and they just put it into sections of the country?
No, that's a good question, Dave. I mean, I think it's a thing that's changing a lot recently, just because of the proliferation over the last year or two of sports betting in the U.S. and particularly online sports betting. Because in 2018, when PASPA went down after the Supreme Court case that said that the law banning sports betting in most of the U.S. was not a valid law, and the sports betting started to get legalized in a lot of U.S. states. We see more and more of these operators that were more like local and regional operators kind of trying to go national, but at the same time, still in most of the U.S., sports betting is not legal, particularly in what we call the Big Four states. New York, I guess, is an exception because technically sports betting is legal in New York, but it's only legal at a few tribal casinos that are nowhere near the city. So I'm not sure that really counts. Right. But in California, Florida, and Texas, there's still no legal sports betting. So, those states make up a huge chunk of the population, just those four. Around a lot of the country now, and a lot of mid-sized states and even some bigger states like Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Michigan, and hopefully soon Ohio, Illinois, Virginia is coming very soon. A lot of the bigger states are starting to have it, including online, and it does make the marketing strategy a bit more national than it has been historically. And I think this is where certain operators clearly have a very big advantage. Fanduel and DraftKings are the ones that come to mind most quickly for the obvious reason that they've been marketing other products that they've been able to get away with offering for real money for years in most of the states in the country. So while they don't have a sports betting audience per se, they do have real money people willing to, I'm not supposed to say wager, I guess, but people willing to risk real money on certain aspects of games that are already used to depositing money into their services and making plays for money. And there are other services that do things like that. And then there are also operators like Barstool Sports that just launched that have a national online media platform that's very engaged and very geared towards gambling. And so when Penn National bought a big chunk of Barstool Sports and then, turned them into a sports betting operator that is currently live in one state but will soon be live in more, they're kind of trying to do the same thing, take a national marketing strategy that's really already happened and turn that into a sports betting marketing strategy. And it puts a lot of these guys at an advantage compared to, say, these European operators that are coming over with effectively no U.S. brand equity at all, very little, very, very small percentage of the population who even knows what Bet365 is or Unibet is in the U.S., and they've kind of got to start from scratch, just getting their name out there. So, yeah, I mean, I think the ones that have done that national strategy, as you say, are at a big advantage.
You predicted one of my questions because I have Barstool Sports in my notes that I wanted to talk to you about. Are they the model right now for omni-channel marketing? I mean, they have radio shows, streaming television shows, podcasts, blogs, very strong social media presence, and they did a strategic partnership with Penn National Gaming, and now they have a branded retail sportsbook in Greektown Casino in Detroit. Are they the model of what sportsbook operators can and should be doing with omni-channel marketing?
Well, it's a really interesting question because my first instinct is to say yes. I think they're doing an excellent job of having their name show up in a lot of different formats and places, on the radio, on the billboards, in online search, just all kinds of places that people are looking that they are showing up. My panel and the people that I was speaking to were kind of talking about something a bit different, where they were focused less on brand building and brand awareness and more on what you do with existing customers. So I think it's a little bit of confusing terminology, the whole omni-channel thing, but it's really more about what they're doing with their existing customers and how to target offers to them and target messaging to them to engage them to the max and get the highest customer values. But I think that when we're talking about acquisitions, Barstool is in a lot of ways a model because they're in so many places. Now, back on DraftKings and Fanduel, they have also been doing this for years, and they've been actually promoting products for years, not just their brand name. And so I still find them to be at a significant advantage in that, not only do they have an engaged user base who knows their name, but they also have had people depositing money in and risking money in their offerings for years and years. So they've been building that kind of trust and also building a database of people that are very strong leads because they've already been doing something very similar to betting real money on sports.
I'm curious, has the pandemic changed the way sportsbooks market themselves? I mean, like you said, I'm sitting here in New Jersey, and I was watching TV before I came on to do the interview, and I saw about 5 television commercials for gambling. I saw a BetMGM commercial, FanDuel, DraftKings, and there was online casinos like you wouldn't believe on TV. I actually saw, we also have the Pennsylvania channels. I saw a commercial for online poker, which I never thought I would see. How has the pandemic changed marketing? And do you think it's just a temporary thing? Once people start getting out, do you think they'll rely on TV as much as they have been, especially in New Jersey or in Pennsylvania, as they were during the pandemic?
Well, it's an interesting question about the pandemic. I thought things were headed this way regardless. I think the pandemic has sped a lot of things up, a lot of things, gambling and otherwise, in terms of moving things more digital, even than how they were already headed, or hastening the move towards digital. So I think you're onto something there. I definitely think that there was more urgency in states like Michigan that were predicting a launch in 2021 sometime, and now it sounds like mid-November of this year for Michigan sports betting to start. Some other states that have passed laws relatively recently, Virginia is an example, that are planning to launch before the end of this year. Tennessee finally got off their butts and started moving towards a launch plan, which appears to be happening before the end of October, or at the very latest, the beginning of November. And so you do see, I think, just a hastening need to get everybody playing online and not, forcing people into brick and mortar venues. A really interesting development has been the one in Illinois over the last several months, and it's still an ongoing situation, a fluctuating situation. But Illinois, for those who don't know, and those who don't know are probably most, they had passed the sports betting law that effectively said that once the market launched, there was an 18-month period before people could register online for sports betting. So if you were based in Illinois and once that market launched and you wanted to bet on sports, you had to register your account online, but you had to physically appear at a casino to verify your account before you could actually start doing your online betting for real money, which is the same as the system in Nevada for years, by the way, and the system in Iowa for now. Mm-hmm. But Illinois did this as it's a protectionist measure. It's set up to to give advantage to existing on the ground operators before people like the Fanduels and DraftKings are able to compete with them, and give a marketing edge to the casinos on the ground that have properties, particularly the ones that have properties around Chicago, where most of the population is in the state. And in the middle of the pandemic, I think it was June that this first happened, the governor made an executive order that turned this practice on its head and basically just said, no, okay, everybody who's authorized now can, in fact, take online registrations, because we don't want to be needlessly sending people into casinos, which is smart, right?
Yep.
And so that went on for a few weeks, and then the order got renewed by the governor and went on for a few more weeks, and then it didn't get renewed. And there was a period of about 3 weeks where, once again, people needed to go to a casino if they wanted to register for online sports betting in Illinois. And then the governor did renew the executive order again and has since renewed it. But it's still, every time they renew it, it's for 3 or 4 weeks. And we really don't know what's happening until right around when it's set to expire. So they've got an even weirder situation there in Illinois, and it's frustrating, definitely, for industry stakeholders and for, I think, players, just people in the state not knowing whether they can do it or not from week to week. Certainly, if it's confusing for someone like me, it's probably very confusing for just, a random person in Illinois who wants to bet on sports and doesn't follow the industry minute to minute like I do. So, yeah, I mean, we're seeing a lot of different things in different states, and the pandemic has affected a lot of things. I mean, you look at New Jersey, and you guys the revenue just dropped recently for the month of September. Sports betting handle was north of $700 million for the month, which means, revenue was probably somewhere between 5 and 10% of that. I don't know if the revenue numbers came out at the same time, but handle was massive, and we're just seeing more and more growth for the online channels. I don't think that's all going back after the pandemic. I mean, sure. I don't even know, how does the pandemic end? It's the first time in our life. It could be a very gradual process over a number of years. And I don't think that people's habits of moving this kind of activity online are just going to change back overnight.
Well, let me ask you something. Illinois, for me, is the prime example of how not to do sports betting and roll out sports betting in a proper way. I mean, I look at Michigan right now. We mentioned Michigan about, with Penn National and Barstool opening up a retail sports book in Greektown Casino. But Michigan is planning on their online sports books. I mean, what is the plan in Michigan, and are they doing it right, unlike, in my opinion, Illinois?
Yeah, well, Illinois is the perfect example of doing everything wrong and everything, right? I mean, they're sort of famously terrible at public policy in that state. But, in Michigan, yeah, I mean, I think their law is certainly much, much smarter than Illinois'. I mean, largely just because they didn't put in all those protectionist measures that Illinois put in. It's just really a shame when a state goes to such lengths to try to protect incumbent businesses and to not allow competition. I think Michigan has done a much better job of opening things up. It's similar to New Jersey. You've still got to partner with a land-based casino, but given the number of skins that are going to be allowed there, we're expecting a very robust and competitive market there. The tax rates are pretty industry friendly, which means that people can get aggressive with their marketing, with their, customer offers, not go too crazy on terrible pricing on bets and stuff like that. Give people a chance to get in there and have fun and hopefully have a chance to win sometimes and not be bogged down. I mean, there are so many different states and so many different approaches, but I think Michigan's an example of a state that has really taken a player and industry friendly approach and not gotten too greedy about upfront tax revenue or anything like that. They look like they're in it for the long term.
Are we expecting the usual books in Michigan? I mean, like a BetMGM, Fanduel, DraftKings, will they be present in Michigan? And also, will Michigan have that strange rule where when you want to sign up for your online sports betting account, you have to finish registering at the retail sportsbook? Because hopefully states are starting to catch on that that's a crazy rule.
Yeah, Michigan will not have that rule. You'll be able to register online from your mobile device or computer right away once it launches. And the answer to your other question is yes, pretty much everybody is going to be there. All the bigs, William Hill, DraftKings, FanDuel, Rush Street, which runs the Bet Rivers online sportsbook in a lot of states. I believe Barstool. Pretty much all of the biggest operators are going to be in Michigan. And on the poker side, because there's going to be online poker and casino there will be Poker Stars. And I'm guessing Caesars and WSOP are going to find a way in there. I haven't heard anything specific about them, but my guess is that pretty much all of the big online poker and casino brands are going to be live in Michigan.
Another state I want to ask you about, and you mentioned it a couple minutes ago, and that's Tennessee. I love what Tennessee is doing, and just recently I interviewed Tina Hodges from Tennessee Action 24/7, and it's just Tennessee is so unique. I mean, can you give us a lay of the land about Tennessee and their sports betting market and why it's so different from the rest of the country?
Sure, yeah, and it's cool that you had someone from Action 24/7 on because they've taken a unique approach.
Yeah.
Very different than, say, BetMGM or DraftKings or FanDuel. They're really just focused on one single state market right now, which is Tennessee. They're a local company. Their office is close to our main office, which is also in downtown Nashville.
Great.
And so we're very familiar with them. And just, I mean, for listeners who don't know, I'm based in Atlanta. Our company, which runs the website Roto Grinders and a bunch of other news websites, is based in Nashville. I actually used to live there, went to college there. Got very close ties, and we all do. And so we're tracking this market very closely, and we're excited about it. We already saw the Titans game, which was Tuesday night against the Bills after getting delayed because of some COVID-19 positives, that there were huge BetMGM ads on the scoreboard during the game. Got friends who took pictures of that. I mean, clearly BetMGM is going hard there. Other brands are going hard there. Action 24/7 is really staking their claim, trying to use their local business connections to boost their own acquisition there in the state. I think it's going to be an interesting market. It's definitely going to have some participants that we haven't seen elsewhere. And it's going to be, because it's online only, because there are no brick and mortar casinos in the state. There's not the same kind of licensing process that you have in a state like New Jersey, where you effectively have to piggyback onto a land-based casino's license if you're a brand that is not attached by company ties to a brick and mortar casino. For example, DraftKings in New Jersey works with resorts to offer their online sportsbook and casino product, and so there's a lot more complexity of getting licensed in a state like that, whereas in Tennessee, they're just going straight through the lottery. Now, states had their own issues. The regulatory process has taken much, much longer than anyone thought it would early on and anyone hoped it would. I mean, people were talking last year about Tennessee online sports betting launching before the football season started in 2019. So there were a lot of people that thought that this market would have been live a full year ago. And it just kept getting pushed back, but it was a couple months here and there. It was okay, it should be live by the Super Bowl. And then all of a sudden, here we are, and it's October 2020, and it's still not live. And there have been some big personnel changes. But ever since Danielle Boyd got there, she's VP of something there at the Tennessee Lottery now. I've had a lot of confidence that this market would get up and running the right way. She did a really great job in West Virginia doing the same thing, working with the West Virginia Lottery to push the regulations forward for online sports betting. She really knows what she's doing, and I think she's working hard, working like crazy there to get this right. Working through some very difficult bureaucratic processes, but I think that market will launch and will do well. They do have an impediment that was a self-imposed impediment that they're requiring the sports books to have a 90% hold. Mm-hmm. Not 90%, 10% hold. They're requiring them to pay out no more than 90% of handle back to bettors, which is strange because, sports events can go wrong for the books. 90% of people in the Super Bowl bet on the team that wins. I don't know how over the rest of the course of the year they achieve a 90% payback and not over 100% payback. But that's imposed by the lottery. They're looking at the way they look at a lottery, which is that they want sort of a guaranteed amount of revenue coming in. It's not really how sports betting works. It's going to make some challenges. They're probably going to have to focus a lot on parlays. That would be my guess, is that they're trying to push people heavily into parlay betting, which has a higher, sort of artificially higher hold percentage. And just, one more note on that, just because it's funny. I think a lot of people hear that and they think, oh, they're trying to push people into worse bets. I don't really see it that way. I just think it's more like people who would have bet on 3 different things, or possibly might have bet, their winnings from one game on another, that they instead try to push it into a parlay just to try to market it a different way, that where it just appears that the hold is different than it would be otherwise. I don't think it's anything logical, that people would think about when they're just imagining this. It's just going to be a way to make those numbers look better on paper.
Do you think Tennessee is a test case for other states looking maybe to jump into sports betting? Do you think they'll see Tennessee and, maybe only online sports betting works and the way they're doing it works? How much are people around the country looking at Tennessee right now?
I don't think that's the model state. I think there was an inkling that it might have been when the law first passed there. The law looked like it was very flexible and gave a lot of opportunities that other states didn't. And I think, they could draw the interest of other states, particularly states that don't have a brick and mortar casino industry and would be looking to regulate via either a brand new regulatory agency or via their state lottery or something like that, including a state like Georgia where I live. There are a lot of states like this that don't have casinos. And so I think there was that early idea that Tennessee might become the model state. My guess is now that something more like Colorado is getting more of that kind of review of being a bit of a test lab, a place where there's a bit more of an opportunity for operators to get in there and try new things. And something very interesting in Colorado is that market's only been online for a few months. And yet all kinds of operators have launched there. I believe there are over 20 live online operators now, and including some brands that no one had ever heard of, at least people betting online in regulated states before. There are some brands that are very unfamiliar to a lot of people, and they're just kind of getting in, testing things out. Some of them are European companies, like Betfred, launched for the first time in Colorado. It's a big European book with a lot of retail locations in Europe, but also some of them are just online sports books that are American companies that hadn't launched in any states yet and found Colorado to be the best place to start trying things out. So I think that that hope that everyone had for Tennessee has become hope for Colorado, that it becomes kind of the test lab for the country.
You know, another state that's been in the news a lot lately with regard to sports betting is Virginia. What is going on right now with Virginia?
So it's been quiet, right? I mean, compared to at least like where I'm hearing, I hear a lot about Tennessee and I hear a lot about Michigan. And here we have a state that's a top 10 in population. I believe Virginia is 10th in the country or 9th in the country in population. So it's a significant state. Obviously, a lot of the people that, you know, work in Washington, D.C. or, you know, in government-related operations live in Virginia. And so it's an important state in a lot of ways. And there will be online sports betting there pretty soon. A lot of sources I've heard have said before the end of the year. I wouldn't be surprised if it ends up being more like January or February. But they are, you know, open for applications. Things are moving ahead. And who knows? They could be live in December. And we could have a situation where in the last couple of months of the year, Tennessee, which is, you know, a top 20 state, I believe, in population, and then Michigan and Virginia, which are both top 10 states, all launch in a short period of time. It's adding a big new chunk of the population into kind of the flow of this new sports betting industry, and not just a big chunk of the population. It's sort of geographically diverse. Michigan is, you know, very much a Midwestern Rust Belt state, and then you've got Virginia, which is government heavy, and Tennessee, which, you know, while technically next to Virginia, they're two long states, so they kind of represent different areas and different populations. It'll be interesting to see how it all plays out once all three of those are live, to join all these other states that have gone live in the last year or so.
Adam, we don't have a lot of time left, but I certainly want to get your opinion on what's going on with an offshore sports book called Five Dimes. I mean, they recently paid a settlement of $47 million because of illegal gambling allegations, and now they're trying to become a legal sports book in the U.S. What is the situation with Five Dimes currently, and do they even have a shot at becoming a legal sports book operator in the U.S.?
I mean, I think it's very unlikely. I should never say that it's impossible, because money is the big thing that drives everything in business and politics and everything else. And if they pay enough of it to the right people, they probably can get a chance. What I'm more confused about and uncertain about is why they would be going this path, and why, you know, anyone would work with them. They've got one asset that I'm sure is very interesting to a lot of people, which is a huge database of existing customers, because they've been offering their services for 20 years or so to the U.S., and they've been operated out of Costa Rica, which is a place I used to live. I knew some of the people that worked at Five Dimes, and you know, they were very big in the heyday of Costa Rican sports betting, U.S.-facing sports betting from Costa Rica. But I don't think that I think their business has fallen off some. The founder and sole owner, as far as I know, died last year. Yeah. And his wife now has been in charge of the business. From everything I've heard, she wasn't really integral to the business before his disappearance and death. And I'm not sure that, you know, she's someone that has a lot of experience running a business like this or anything like that. And it's a situation that doesn't make a lot of sense to me in terms of like them being a brand that would be trying to get into the U.S. market. I think it does make sense that if allowed, some operator would want their database, and it might be that what they're trying to do is make that a non-toxic asset, so that a company like Bet365, for example, or Unibet might consider, you know, trying to buy their database just to have an in with more customers in the U.S. Because they're starting from scratch in the U.S. after coming over from Europe. I mean, it definitely isn't something that I would put past a company like that, but at the same time, it's such an uphill climb. It's not like Five Dimes once offered their services to the U.S. market, you know, back in a pre-regulatory time when there were no regulated books. I mean, they were offering their services to U.S. customers earlier this year. Yeah. You know, they were doing it in the middle of the summer. So, just because they shut down and pay some money to the U.S. and stop offering their services in the U.S. in the middle of 2020, to me doesn't mean that all of a sudden they're free and clear to go do whatever they want. Each state regulator is going to have to look at them. It's not just like, once they get past their federal crimes issues that they're all of a sudden clean. Gambling regulators look at a lot more than that.
Adam Small from USBets.com and Better Collective, thanks so much for talking with us and keeping us updated on what's going on in the gambling world. You always give us great information, and we look forward to next time you're on.
Thank you, Dave. It's great to be back.
Oh, great to have you. Stick around. We'll be right back with more Turnpike Sports.
Free stuff is awesome, but free stuff that will spice up your bedroom is even better. Just go to adamandeve.com and select almost any one item for 50% off, and then we'll load on the free stuff. Just enter this very exclusive code, BABE16 at checkout, and you'll get 10 tantalizing free gifts, including a sexy item for him, a special toy for her, and a third item you'll both enjoy. And 6 extra special bonus items that are sure to rev your engine, pique your curiosity, and even blow you away. Plus, free shipping! Always sent in discreet packaging. Go to adamandeve.com now. Get 50% off plus the 10 free gifts when you enter the exclusive offer code BABE16. That's BABE16, because without it, no free stuff. That's BABE16 at adamandeve.com.
Sometimes life is wonderful, and sometimes it's not. Cherish the good, but always be prepared for life's challenges. At Private Healthcare, we provide the peace of mind you deserve. With Private Healthcare, you'll get the coverage you want and healthcare you need. If your employer doesn't supply healthcare coverage and you don't qualify for Medicare or Medicaid, you need to give us a call right now. Private Healthcare is private health insurance for ages 65 and under with medical, dental, vision, and even prescription coverage. When life comes at you unexpectedly, you need to be ready. And health insurance is your financial safety net. If you're looking for health coverage at the best price and your annual household income is $35,000 or more, give us a call at 800-231-9279. That's 800-231-9279. 800-231-9279.
And the Turnpike Sports Pro Football Pick segment is brought to you by William Hill in New Jersey. Football is back, and William Hill is celebrating the 2020 season with a great new welcome offer in New Jersey. Sign up with William Hill Online Sportsbook in New Jersey using our promo code PIKE500 to receive a free bet up to $500 with your first deposit of $50 or more. That's promo code PIKE500 for a free bet up to $500 with your first deposit of $50 or more at William Hill in New Jersey. Must be 21 years older and in New Jersey. Terms and conditions apply. New customers only. Problem gambler. Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
And we're here in the Pro Pick segment, and as always, we're going to pick 3 games out of this weekend slate of NFL games.
We don't know what we're picking, so just to have everyone know. Sometimes we overlap and double up or pick the same game, but it's not on purpose or anything like that. I have no idea what games he picked. He has no ideas what games I picked.
And they're done by either spread or total over-under.
Yep.
No money line betting here. So
that's too easy.
Yeah,
although I won parlays on money line.
That's the way to do money line.
That's a little easier.
But again, these are we're going to choose 3 games. They're going to be put up on the blog, turnpikesportsradio.com. Click on the blog button. These will be put up about an hour or so after this show publishes. Again, at the top of the show, we talked about we both went 3-0 last week, and also for the season record now.
I have no idea what the season record is.
Going into Week 8, we're both 13-8.
Okay. All right.
We both went 3-0, like I said, and as I said before, they were Patriot-related wins. The one game we didn't bet on each other. We had 2 to say.
I forgot what I did. I know
you did the Patriot game.
I did the Patriot. Did I do the? Let me tell you something. Every Patriot game now should be an under because they have an awful offense.
Well, I have the Patriots to thank for my win. I did.
I went with San Francisco.
Yeah, you did the spread.
Yeah,
but my game, Pittsburgh, Tennessee, was decided by the former Patriots kicker, Steven Gostkowski. He missed the last-second field goal.
Wow!
So everything was Patriot-related for our separate game there.
They were very profitable for us.
Well, going into this week, since you went first last week, I'll start this week.
Okay.
My first game is the Minnesota Vikings at the Green Bay Packers.
I have this game. Damn it. Okay, go ahead.
Green Bay's favored by 6.5.
All right.
And the over-under is 55.
Oh, see, I got 54.5, by the way.
Well, we probably did them at different times. That's why the lines are changing here.
Yeah,
so, this is good. This is good.
I'm looking at William Hill right now. It's 54.5.
Well, doesn't matter. I wasn't going over/under anyway.
Oh, okay. Well, then we have different bets on this game. Then. Okay.
Minnesota's coming out of a bye week here, and they're facing a Packers team that scored at least 30 or more points in their last 4 or 5 games. Green Bay's also won 3 of the last 4 meetings against the Packers. Now, this is interesting. The Packers are 4-0 against the spread in their last 4 home game wins, while the Vikings are 1-4 against the spread in the team's last 5 meetings against each other. They're also 3-8 against the spread in the last 11 meetings in Green Bay. The Green Bay Packers have beaten the spread in each of the last 3 meetings between the Vikings and the Packers, and I think just by looking at them, the Packers seem to be all together. The Vikings seem to be a little discombobulated. And I think I'm just going to keep riding the Green Bay wave and go with Rodgers and company. I'm going with the Packers 6.5.
All right. I took this same game, but I didn't. I went with the over/under. I didn't do the point spread. Okay. Here's my reasoning for going over in this one. Okay. Week 1, these 2 teams played, and the Packers won 43-34, and I'm expecting a game like that one. Listen to this one. In their last 2 games, the Vikings defense has given up 67 points, but the Vikings offense has scored 23 points in 5 of their last 6 games. And, the Green Bay Packers have absolutely no problem putting points on the board. I mean, last week, Rodgers threw for 4 touchdowns. And like you said, the Packers have scored 30 points in 5 of their last 6 games. So this just feels like an over to me.
Now, Green Bay's been fun to watch.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you another couple teams that have been fun to watch, which leads into my second pick, the Tennessee Titans, favored by 5.5 at Cincinnati Bengals.
Okay. I didn't take this game.
Over/under of 54.5. Mm-hmm. Just like the last game for you. Yeah. Like I said, these 2 teams are very fun to watch. Tennessee, which looks to be another solid run at the Super Bowl again this year, they lost in the last seconds against the Steelers, who look like the Super Bowl team in the AFC conference there. The Bengals, again, scoring like crazy. They seem to be like the bounce of a football away from winning a lot of these games. And I really like the way Burrow has been running the offense. The offense has been running better than it has in years. Now, I was looking at some of these games, and again, Tennessee's in a different class than Cincinnati all itself. The over is 4-0-1 in the Titans' last 5 games overall, and the over is 4-0 in the Bengals' last 4 home games. The over is also 7-0 in the Titans' last 7 games following an against the spread loss, which they did against the Steelers. Yeah. I think you see where my thinking's going. I'm doing the over 54.5.
Well, obviously, we expect a lot of points to be put up this weekend because I'm taking the Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Baltimore Ravens, who are favored by 3.5 and an over/under of 46.5 points. Yeah, I'm taking the over in this one because, look, both these teams have very good defenses, but I think they're going to be putting points on the board because this game is going to be so very close. In their last 5 games, the Steelers have hit their over 3 times. And like I said, this is going to be back and forth. I think this one may even go to overtime. But I think points will be scored, and 46.5 points isn't a huge over-under, but I'm taking the over in this one.
Okay, I did this game as well for my last game.
Okay.
Pittsburgh Steelers, Baltimore Ravens, 4-point favorite are the Ravens in this game.
Oh, you got 4. Okay.
Yeah. The Steelers come into the game at 6-0. The Ravens are at 5-1, just a game behind the Steelers. But the Ravens haven't been playing consistently enough. I've been seeing a lot of really kind of rough play by them in terms of the offense, in terms of scoring at times. But the Steelers have been clicking on all cylinders offensively. Roethlisberger looks like he's a brand-new quarterback again with those young receivers they got. They've been playing very well. The Ravens are only 3-3 against the spread all season, which tells me a lot in terms of with a spread like a 3.5 or even a 4. Mm-hmm. The Steelers are 4-0 against the spread in their last 4 games overall, and 4-0 against the spread in their last 4 games following a straight-up win, which they did against Tennessee last week. I just referenced that in the previous pick. The road team in this series is also 5-2 against the spread in the last 7 meetings. I think right now, the way the Steelers are playing, and also the way the Ravens are playing, which is inconsistent, like I said, I got to go with the Steelers and do the 4-point spread.
All right, my last game is the Indianapolis Colts, who are favored by 2.5 points, versus the Detroit Lions with an over-under of 50. The Lions are coming off a last-second victory against the Atlanta Falcons, which is probably a normal game now.
I think everybody can say that.
For the Atlanta Falcons, and the Colts are coming off a bye, which they needed because they were kind of banged up. I'm always curious about the home underdog, but you know what? I didn't even look at the spreads for this one. I just looked at what these two teams have been doing. Get this one. The Detroit Lions have lost the last 6 home games and are 1-3 against winning teams this year. I'm not even looking at the point spread. So, there's no home field advantage for the Detroit Lions. And so I'm going with the Indianapolis Colts, and I'm laying the points. I think they're going to win the game. I don't think they're going to blow out the Lions. I think they might win by a field goal, but I still think the Indianapolis Colts will win this and will cover.
Okay, just to recap our picks for the week, I went with the Packers, favored by 6.5. I did the over 54.5 at the Titans-Bengals game, and I did the Steelers at a 4-point spread against the Ravens.
Okay, I went with the over 46.5 points in the Steelers-Ravens game. I took the Indianapolis Colts and laid the 2.5 points versus the Detroit Lions. And I'm taking the over 54.5 in the Vikings-Packers game.
All right, those are our 3 picks each for this upcoming slate. So again, it's Week 8. These picks will be put up on the blog, turnpikesportsradio.com. Click on the blog button. You'll be taken there. About an hour after this show publishes, you'll have the picks put up on the blog. Feel free to comment on info@turnpikesportsradio.com. @Turnpike Sports is social media for Twitter and Facebook. @Turnpike Sports Radio is the Instagram address. And also, as always, feel free to make your comments on the blog as well. So there we have it, Week 8. Let's hopefully we continue our winning streak.
And the Turnpike Sports Book Report is coming up next, so stick around. We'll be right back with more Turnpike Sports.
We'll get right back to the show, but I want to take a minute to talk to you about Bean Genius. How would you like your coffee delivered right to your door every month, maybe 2 times a month? Well, now that can happen with Bean Genius. Bean Genius sells freshly roasted coffee from some of the best independent coffee roasters in the country at beangenius.com. And Bean Genius actually learns their customers' individual taste preferences, then suggests future coffee blends for them. Well, how do they do that? Well, this is the cool thing about Bean Genius. Over at beangenius.com, they use an algorithm which learns the coffee flavors you like and then pairs up what you like with the coffee that they have in stock. And it's all based upon you. Every time you order, the system learns. The system learns your preferences as you go along and order more and more coffee. And now, all our listeners at Turnpike Sports can get a special offer. You head on over to beingenius.com/subscription, and you'll be able to get 10% off your purchase when you use our promo code PIKE, P-I-K-E, at checkout. That's 10% off at beingenius.com/subscription with promo code PIKE, P-I-K-E. beingenius.com, the smart specialty coffee subscription service.
Attention Medicare recipients and anyone turning 65. Medicare has approved new benefits not included with original Medicare and older Medicare Advantage plans. You may not be getting all of the benefits you're entitled to, including in-home aids, telephone appointments with your doctors, home-delivered meals and prescriptions. These benefits may be available, and it's a free call to enroll. The new plans may also offer free eyeglasses, free hearing aids, free wellness visits, and gym memberships. Call the Medicare benefits line now. It's easy. Call 800-217-1797. 800-217-1797. Find out if you're eligible for new benefits like meal and prescription delivery, in-home aids, and telemedicine. Some plans may have a $0 monthly premium or zero copays for big out-of-pocket savings. Not all Medicare Advantage plans are alike. The new plans have more benefits for many people. Call 800-217-1797. 800-217-1797. 800-217-1797.
The Turnpike Sports Book Report.
And the Turnpike Sports Book Report is brought to you by BorgataSports.com. Your favorite casinos now, your favorite sports book available anywhere in New Jersey, BorgataSports.com. Sign up at BorgataSports.com using our promo code PIKE, that's P-I-K-E, and you get a risk-free bet up to $300 and 20 bonus dollars at BorgataCasino.com. Must be 21 years or older and in New Jersey to place a bet. Terms and conditions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Okay, we got a couple new types of entries into this week's book report.
No, not revenue figures.
Lots of
revenue figures came out.
We have revenue figures.
I was thinking this was a revenue figure kind of book report.
We have revenue figures. We have legislation. We have launches. We have the two new things that we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about one of them right off the top here is responsible gaming.
Okay.
The NHL and the American Gaming Association have announced a partnership to promote responsible gaming activity through the American Gaming Association's Have a Game Plan, Bet Responsibly program. That's a big thing nowadays, responsible gaming. I know a lot of states are worried about problem gambling.
Yep.
UK is experiencing a huge problem with problem gambling. I guess that's redundant.
Problem gambling.
That's redundant a little bit. But they're having issues with that, and they're doing everything possible to create programs to educate the bettors on how to bet smartly.
Absolutely. Yeah, look, sports betting is new to a lot of people, with a lot of states coming online with sports betting. And
in the United States.
Yeah, in the United States. And, I think people, it can be a fun activity, but you know what? It has to be done responsibly and safely. And certainly I think what the American Gaming Association and now the NHL is doing a great thing to educate people.
Well, the NHL is going to make available commercial inventory in terms of video board images, public address announcements, animations that are hockey-specific.
All right.
To get people to actually learn how to bet smarter, as well as not betting in some instances.
Sure.
Because there's a lot of issues about people just betting and betting and betting and betting. So, this is nice to see. They're also the league is also going to make available creatives and other market-specific inventory available to the individual teams.
Sure.
So they can do it for their individual, the team fans anyway.
Okay.
Not just a league-wide effort, but it's a team-wide effort too. This is the second responsible gaming deal that the American Gaming Association has. It's the second major league sport too.
Okay.
NASCAR already did this.
That's right.
I has been doing it.
I kind of remember the news story a couple months ago. Yeah, sure. It's been a couple months, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
They announced the partnership with the NASCAR.
Actually,
league,
it was in September.
Mid-September.
About 2 months. Month and a half.
Give or take. But it's nice to see. Good to see, too, because I think it's necessary.
Oh, absolutely. Like I said, it's a new activity, and people have to be educated on the do's and don'ts of responsible gambling, and I think they're doing a great thing.
Because that statement leads right into the new category. Obviously, we're going to be talking about every so often, because I'm seeing these pop up a lot. A lot of the illegal activities that are being caught by the gaming commissions and the states, fraud, sports betting schemes, all that stuff. And we got 2 to talk about.
Okay. All right.
Let's talk about the Utah one first, because
Utah.
The name of the company should have been a clue to these people that they were getting ripped off. The name of the company is Syndicate Software.
Syndicate Software.
I just don't like that phrase, syndicate.
Yeah, well, I guess it has some bad connotations, but what?
A Utah man has
were they found guilty, or
a Utah man has pleaded guilty.
Has pled guilty
to taking part in an allegedly fraudulent multi-million-dollar athletic wagering software scheme.
Wow. Boy.
This guy claimed he had created software to beat the house, and he was seeking investors, and what the investors would get in return for their money would be 10% of the weekly winnings, that their money would be used through this software to make money off sports betting.
So they weren't investing in the company; they were
betting.
They were betting. Okay, they were betting.
They were betting through software. Put it that way. This was basically a Ponzi scheme.
So did this guy even have software?
No software.
No. Okay, no software. All right.
And also, he was using the money for his own purposes as well as placing his own bets.
All right.
And he was using some of the money to hedge these bets.
All right.
So
he pled guilty to this, huh?
He pled guilty. He's facing 10 years in prison.
Wow.
Let's see. He even had
I'm assuming
told
he's
them,
going to have to pay back the people he defrauded.
if he can.
Well, he probably can't. I mean, this is like a Madoff thing, huh?
Yeah. He was taking investors on one side and putting their money on bets and, keeping whatever and using it.
Wow. Okay.
So that was one individual who had I have to admit, very unique sports betting scheme, claiming he had software that other companies wanted to buy. You invest in the software, technically. I'll use your money to place bets with this software, and you keep the winnings every week. So that was the basic gist of that scheme.
Okay.
The other one happened in Illinois, and it involved a famous name. Not the actual persons whose name was involved, but the brother of Brian Urlacher. Chicago
this was
Bears
in the news
player.
a lot. Yeah, this was in the news a lot.
It took a long time to get to this point, but the main person running it, Gino Del Guidici, nice Italian name there, he pled guilty to acting as a runner for a gambling ring. Now, this guy led to the actual person running this gambling ring, which was his son.
Wow.
He turned his son in.
So this guy pled guilty and testified and flipped on his son or
Exactly.
something? Oh, wow. Okay.
Now, this gambling ring raked in millions of dollars from Chicago area.
So this guy, the father pled guilty.
The father was a runner for the son. The son was running an illegal betting ring.
Allegedly, right?
Allegedly. One of the other people involved, and why Brian Urlacher's name keeps getting involved with this is because of his brother, Casey Urlacher.
Yeah, he's some politician out there, isn't he?
He's the mayor of a town.
Oh, okay. He's a mayor.
Yeah. So he pled guilty also to being a runner as well for this. And what they were doing, the son, Vincent, who was the son of Gino, he was basically using an offshore betting site and taking money from Chicago area bettors, using their betting. He was basically a bookie using an offshore site.
Okay.
Which is illegal.
Yeah, no, I mean, you can't use an offshore, unlicensed site in this country.
They were using a Costa Rica-based sports book, and they were paying the sports book a service fee to use the platform for their, I guess, a private group of sports betting.
Wow.
They recruited gamblers, and Casey Urlacher pleaded guilty to being a runner and bringing in players to this ring.
Yeah, I got it. These schemes, these two schemes we were talking about. The gambling business in this country is the most heavily regulated field or area of business in this country. I mean, it's just ridiculous that these guys are trying stuff like this. I mean, gaming regulators are out there every day. I mean, they know what to look for, and I can't believe people are still actually trying this.
Well, a lot of the online...
with legal sports betting in this country comes a lot more regulation and a lot more investigative
Which is why they go offshore. Which is why they go offshore.
Well, they're going offshore, though.
Yeah. And a lot of the legal sports books in the United States also have the statement in their terms and agreements that you promise not to place a bet for somebody else through your account.
Sure.
Which is what this guy was doing on this offshore sports book for all these gamblers that he brought in.
You know, chances are, too, if you're betting with an offshore account, you know, it's going to be tough to get your money back if there's a problem.
If it's a reputable site still.
I still wouldn't do it.
Oh, no, I wouldn't do it either. I mean,
that's crazy.
So those are the two new types of entries for the sports book. Basically a blotter.
Okay.
The responsible gaming thing, NHL with the AGA, and also the two sports betting schemes. Let's get back to the normal book stuff.
Okay.
We got some revenue numbers to report. Colorado has continually impressed people.
And certainly in September, they did very well.
They brought in a handle of $207.6 million. That's up 60% from the August numbers of this year.
Now, this is the first time they broke the $200 million mark, right?
Yep.
All right.
This is up 60%. Mobile betting accounted for 98% of the total handle.
That's why I can't believe that some states don't have mobile sports betting. They see how great it is. They see that people love it, that people want it, and I don't know why they're not just jumping on the online sports book bandwagon.
And they only had a revenue of $4 million.
That's a lot of smart bettors.
Yep.
Out in Colorado.
Well, and the taxable revenue was even lower than that.
Yeah, well,
because you got to get rid of the promo credits and everything.
Apparently,
else.
There's some smart and responsible bettors out in Colorado. Good for them.
And again, I said this last week. I think I said it the week before. Now that we have Tennessee coming on with a mandatory 10% hold,
yeah,
I always look at the hold numbers. 2% hold.
Yep.
The biggest sport was baseball in September.
Makes sense.
$47.1 million in handle. American football, I like how they phrase that in the press release. Professional American football, NFL. They had $38.6 million in handle, and basketball came in with $37.7 million. No table tennis.
No, good.
Thank God.
Good.
Arkansas. We don't talk about Arkansas enough. No one does. All three sports books in the state were open. Last month they only had one open. The handle for September was $3.95 million for all three sports books, about a 292% increase from August.
Sure.
In terms of handle. That makes sense because there's three books. It's 3 times as much.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's it shows that people in Arkansas like their sports betting.
Yep.
They only have 3 sports books, but they're making the most of them.
And net win was $397,000. That was almost 500% increase from August.
Mm-hmm.
And each of the 3 casinos brought in up around maybe 10 to 13% increase from the month before or from previous reported numbers. Oakland Park, which was the only one open in August, was up 13%. They had $1.14 million in handle, and in August they had just over $1 million in handle. So Arkansas is getting back on track as well. Mississippi. The handle of Mississippi was $52 million. That's over $11 million more than August of 2020 here.
Okay.
August had $40.4 million. Remember, there's no online betting in Mississippi.
I know.
A lot of people forget that.
It just, it's one of the states. I think you're going to be talking about another state that, should have online sports betting but doesn't. But, Mississippi can probably triple that if they went online. But, politicians are going to do their thing.
Well, they want to run it that way. That's fine.
Yeah,
They had a revenue of $6.5 million. That's up 76% from August and up 17% of September of last year. So we're seeing some growth again. In Mississippi, football was the most bet on sport. They had $22.3 million wagered on there, and basketball had $11.3 million. Again, I'm not seeing table tennis anywhere in these numbers, which is
no table tennis or darts.
The normalization
of
almost
feels like it's back to normal.
And New York reported their revenue numbers for the month of September.
Again, New York is another state that should have online sports betting but doesn't.
Well, all 4 commercial casinos, not the Indian stuff, but the commercial casinos, their sports books reported a total of $1.4 million in revenue.
Okay.
Which is nothing.
Well, like I said,
pocket change compared to Jersey.
Well, that's what I mean. What's happening in the New York City area, the big sports book is FanDuel and PointsBet over at the Meadowlands. But hey, you know what? I know people from New York are riding the trains and placing their bets and playing online casinos and online poker, but I'm not sure why New York is allowing New Jersey to get all this money. Being from New Jersey, hey, thank you, New York, for your money. But seriously, if you're in New York,
Pennsylvania thanks them too.
If you're in New York, I'm not sure why you're not doing online sports betting. It gets money into your pockets, and gets money into the government's pockets, and so they can fund some important things in the state. But I guess all in good time. Hopefully, it's getting closer. Hopefully, it's getting closer for New York. But in the meantime, as a resident of New Jersey, New York, thank you for all your sports betting money.
And we've got 2 more states to talk about. We've got a lot more in the book report, which is going to be put up on the blog. Just head on over to turnpikesportsradio.com. Click on the blog button. You'll see what we're talking about and some additional stories. Indiana, William Hill launched online.
Okay.
They got the go live authorization this past Friday, so they're now up and running there. Iowa, DraftKings got fined.
Oh, okay.
Regulatory fine.
Okay, what were they fined for?
They had a late download of the self-ban, self-exclusion list.
Okay.
To the Gaming Commission.
All right.
Now, according to the agreement DraftKings has with the Iowa Gaming Commission, the fine was supposed to be somewhere between $5,000 and $20,000. DraftKings stated they were ready to do the $20,000 fine. The commission looked at it. They reviewed it. They uploaded it late to the commission.
So it was really a kind of a
first offense kind of
bookkeeping kind of mistake kind of thing.
And it was only a $5,000 fine.
All right.
So also in Illinois, the remote registration extension was, or not extension, but the remote registration requirement, the lifted remote registration requirement was continued through November 14th. You don't have to go to the casino.
Yeah, you don't have to physically show up to the sportsbook to complete your online registration. You can complete your online registration online, which makes
the
sense.
Online registration online. The mobile registration,
which
you don't have
sense.
to go to the physical place.
Yeah.
So that's it for this week. Again, go to turnpikesportsradio.com, click on the button. You'll see the blog entry for these stories as well as others that we didn't have a chance to touch with our time constraints here. So head on over there and leave comments or even get in touch with us. info@turnpikesportsradio.com is our email address.
And that'll do it for us this week. If you're heading out to one of the newly reopened casinos or sportsbooks, please be safe, and we'll see you next time on the Turnpike.